Remember when I said this on my Apple price increases video? And let's be honest, nobody likes hearing that prices are going up, especially when literally everything else seems to be getting more expensive too. Gas, more expensive. Groceries, more expensive. Streaming subscriptions, more expensive. Your favorite tech gadgets, also more expensive. Pretty soon, we're going to be financing AirPods over 72 months. Well, not even a month later, and somehow my joke aged like a fine wine. Let's get to it. First off, Apple, are you watching my videos? Because if you are, I'm not trying to give you ideas. I'm trying to point out just how blind you've become doing increasingly ridiculous things just to protect those profit margins. And if somehow somebody over at Apple actually watched my video and thought, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Then first of all, you're welcome, I guess. Second, the least you could do is compensate me. You guys can afford it. You're sitting on enough cash to buy entire countries. A fully upgraded MacBook Pro wouldn't even show up on your quarterly earnings report. Instead, I made jokes, and Apple keeps turning them into official announcements. That's starting to feel a little creepy. Because let's be honest, when I made that joke, it was supposed to be ridiculous. It was satire. It was me exaggerating where I thought the tech industry was headed. And then Apple comes along and said, hold my apple juice. The company has officially launched Apple Upgrade, a new leasing program that lets customers make monthly payments on iPhones, iPads, Macs, and Apple Watches. At the end of the lease, you can upgrade to a newer model, buy the device you've been using, or simply hand it back and start the cycle all over again. If that sounds familiar, congratulations. You basically describe how millions of people lease their cars. Now, before anyone starts typing an angry comment, let me be clear. I'm not saying this is automatically a bad thing. In fact, for some people, this program makes perfect sense. If you're someone who upgrades to the newest iPhone every single year, never keeps a device for very long, and always wants the latest hardware, Apple Upgrade could actually simplify your life. Instead of selling your old phone, dealing with trade-ins, and figuring out how much you'll have to pay every September, Apple handles most of the process. From that perspective, it's actually pretty convenient. The problem isn't convenience. The problem is what this says about where Apple is heading. A few weeks ago, Apple told us memory prices has skyrocketed because every AI company on Earth was buying enough RAM to build Skynet. As a result, MacBooks got more expensive, iPads got more expensive, HomePods got more expensive, Apple TVs got hit with a price increase that practically deserves its own support group. Then almost immediately afterward, Apple announces new programs that makes those higher prices feel easier to swallow by spreading them into monthly payments. And that's where I'm raising an eyebrow. Because Apple isn't making these products cheaper. They're making them feel cheaper. That's a huge difference. A $2,000 MacBook sounds expensive. A $49 or $59 monthly payment, suddenly people start thinking, well, that's not too bad. Congratulations, you've just experienced one of the oldest sales techniques in history. It's exactly how luxury car dealerships have been selling vehicles for decades. Anybody walks into a BMW dealership and automatically asks how much the car costs anymore. They ask, what's my monthly payment? Apple looked at that model and apparently thought, yeah, let's do that. I'm honestly expecting my next visit to the Apple store to be something like this. So, what can we do to get you into this M6 MacBook Pro today? Would you like Apple Care? Would you like premium protection package? Gap insurance? Roadside assistance? Sir, this is a laptop. The funny thing is that just a month ago, I joked about financing AirPods over 72 months. Obviously, Apple isn't doing that yet. But can we all admit something? Does that joke really sound impossible anymore? Because it doesn't to me. That's the creepy part. Not that Apple announced financing for AirPods, they didn't. It's that if they announced it next year, nobody would be shocked. We'd all shrug and say, yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's how quickly the idea of financing everyday technology has become normal. Think about how much has changed over the last 15 years. Financing used to be for houses, then it was cars, then expensive furniture, then smartphones. Now it's computers. And honestly, I don't know where the line is anymore. At this rate, I fully expect Apple to announce Apple upgrades for AirPods, followed by Apple upgrade for the Apple Vision headset, and eventually Apple upgrade for charging cables. Introducing Apple Cable Lease Plus. Only $199 a month. After 36 easy payments, the cable is yours, or upgrade to our new braided titanium cable for just another $1 a month. The crazy part is that Apple probably isn't even doing anything revolutionary here. They're simply responding to the reality that their products have become so expensive that more people are thinking of them in terms of monthly payments instead of total cost. That's actually a smart business decision. Investors love recurring revenue. Shareholders love predictable income. If customers upgrade more often because the payments feel manageable, everybody in Wall Street is happy. Except maybe the customer. But who cares about those, right? Because here's what worries me. When you buy a MacBook outright, it's yours. Keep it for 5 years, keep it for 10 years, sell it, give it to a family member, use it until it can't even open Safari anymore. It's your device. But when you're leasing, you're always thinking about the next payment, the next upgrade, the next contract. Ownership slowly starts taking a backseat to convenience. Again, I'm not saying nobody should use Apple Upgrade. There are people who will absolutely benefit from it. If you always want the newest hardware and don't care about owning it long term, this program could be perfect for you. Apple is offering another option, and options are generally a good thing. What concerns me isn't the program itself, it's what it represents. Because over the last several years, we've watched the technology industry slowly move away from ownership. Movies became streaming, music became streaming, software became subscriptions, games became subscriptions, cloud storage became subscriptions, AI became subscriptions. And now one of the biggest technology companies on earth is encouraging customers to lease the hardware itself. Maybe this is simply the next logical step. Maybe this is where the industry was always headed. Or maybe this is another sign that companies have realized something incredibly simple. People hate paying $2,000 all at once, but they're surprisingly comfortable paying $50 a month forever. That's the business model. Not selling you on one device every 5 years, instead convincing you to keep sending money every single month for as long as possible. So I want to hear from you. Would you actually use Apple Upgrade for your next iPhone, iPad, Mac, or Apple Watch? Do you think it's a genuinely useful option for people who upgrade frequently? Or do you think Apple is simply making it easier for customers to accept ever increasing prices? Let me know down in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where everyone stands on this one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. If you think I made some good points, or if you think I'm completely wrong, leave it down in the comments below. And if you know someone who's thinking about using Apple Upgrade, share this video with them. As always, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, yes, I still call it Twitter, and of course, right here on YouTube at J.R. Abrams Tech. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.